There is no master switch that controls the internet, no president who owns it, no CEO who runs the entire system, and no single government with total authority over it. The internet feels decentralized and almost impossible to control, yet deep inside highly secured facilities, a small group of individuals hold physical keys that protect the cryptographic foundation of the entire network. 7 people, not billionaires or politicians, but security experts entrusted with guarding the root of digital trust that billions rely on every single day. To understand why that matters, you need to look beneath the surface of how the internet actually works. Every device connected to the internet has a numerical identifier known as an IP address, and computers use these numbers to locate each other across vast global networks. When you type a website name into your browser, you are not connecting to words. You are connecting to numbers, but because humans are terrible at remembering long strings of digits, the internet relies on something called DNS, the domain name system, which acts like a massive global phone book translating human-friendly names into machine-readable IP addresses in a fraction of a second. When you enter a website into your browser, your computer first checks if it already knows the corresponding address, and if it does not, it sends a request to what is known as a recursive resolver. If that resolver does not have the answer, it queries one of the world's root servers, which sit at the very top of the DNS hierarchy. There are 13 named root server identities distributed globally, and rather than storing every website address, they simply direct traffic toward the correct top-level domain servers, such as those responsible for .com or .org, passing the request down the chain until the correct IP address is returned, all of which happens so quickly that users never notice the complexity behind the scenes. But here is the critical question. How do you know the answer you receive is authentic? And what prevents someone from intercepting that request and redirecting you somewhere malicious? This is where DNSSEC comes into play. DNSSEC, or Domain Name System Security Extensions, adds cryptographic verification to DNS lookups by using asymmetric encryption, a system built on 2 mathematically linked keys, one public and one private. The public key can be shared widely, while the private key must remain secret and protected at all costs. When DNS data is created, it is digitally signed using a private key, and anyone can verify that signature using the corresponding public key to confirm that the information has not been altered. This creates a chain of trust throughout the DNS system, where each level verifies the integrity of the level below it. A website's DNS records are validated by its top-level domain. That top-level domain is validated by a higher authority. And at the very top of this hierarchy sits the DNS root, administered by ICANN. At the core of this structure is something called the root signing key, which acts as the ultimate trust anchor for DNSSEC validation worldwide. If that key were ever compromised, the integrity of secure DNS lookups across the globe could be undermined, potentially allowing attackers to manipulate name resolution on a massive scale. Because of that risk, the private root key is never stored on an ordinary server and is never casually connected to the open internet. Instead, it is housed inside specialized devices known as hardware security modules, or HSMs, which are designed specifically to resist tampering and physical intrusion. These devices are kept in secure facilities in the United States and are geographically separated to provide redundancy and resilience. Accessing them requires multiple layers of authentication and strict procedural oversight, but even entering the facility is not enough to activate the system. The modules can only be enabled using smart cards, and those smart cards are locked inside secure containers that require physical metal keys to open. Those keys are distributed among 7 trusted community representatives, selected security professionals from different parts of the world who operate under clearly defined rules. No single individual can activate the system alone, and a minimum number of them must be physically present to proceed, ensuring that power is never concentrated in one pair of hands. When updates to the root signing key are required, a formal event known as a key ceremony takes place, and this is not symbolic but highly structured and carefully documented. The ceremony is recorded on video, audited by observers, and conducted according to a precise script. During the process, the secure containers are unlocked. The smart cards are retrieved and inserted into the hardware security modules, and the root key is used to generate updated cryptographic signatures that maintain the global chain of trust. These ceremonies occur periodically to rotate keys and preserve security over time, because without updated signatures, DNSSEC validation would eventually fail as cryptographic material expires. While that would not instantly shut down the internet, it would weaken the system's ability to verify authenticity, opening the door to potential manipulation if safeguards were not maintained. Now, it is important to understand what these 7 people cannot do. They cannot shut down the internet. They cannot spy on global traffic. They cannot delete websites or censor platforms, because the internet is far too vast and decentralized for any small group to control in that way. What they do safeguard is something quieter but fundamental, the trust anchor that ensures when you type a website name you are actually reaching the intended destination. Modern digital life depends on this invisible layer of verification. Online banking, government portals, cloud infrastructure, encrypted communications, and everyday browsing all rely on the assumption that DNS responses are authentic and untampered. That assumption ultimately traces back to a cryptographic key secured not just by code, but by physical safeguards and human oversight. The internet may feel abstract, like pure information flowing through fiber optic cables and wireless signals, yet its security is grounded in very real objects and very real procedures. Secure facilities, hardware modules, smart cards, metal keys, and carefully orchestrated ceremonies all play a role in protecting the system's foundation. 7 people do not control the internet in the dramatic sense, but they are among the trusted guardians of its cryptographic core, quietly ensuring that the global network billions rely on every day continues to function securely. And in a world powered by digital trust, that responsibility carries more weight than most people ever realize.